Nothing for me.
Not for me. We had a foul ordinance meeting second time around with the chicken. And we're gonna maintain our stance of no change in the ordinance at this time.
Okay. So that's the committee recommendation?
Yep.
You have to make a full council approval on that?
I'll make a motion to approve the committee's report.
Okay,
Second.
second, motion approved. Keep the chicken ordinance as is. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Vern, you got anything?
Nothing for me.
I'm gonna feed under.
Of course I do. We have the proper one. Right now, we've got summer celebration.
Finally.
I know. Never too late. Oh, 2017. At any rate, the permit is in good order, and they did submit their in their application and stuff. They did submit, and they'll be approaching Scott with the city's responsibilities, or what we normally do with them, and just because we are dealing with the a different law enforcement setup this year as we did last year. It's up to them to work that out with sheriff's office as far as their extra. But they did successfully do that last year, and so
Because they're under new management this year, going to apply.
pardon me?
Right, that's because they're under new sheriff this year, is that what you're applying?
No, we worked with them last year
Right.
on the summer celebration. Was our first deal, but
The
yeah, we
first
have a
year.
new sheriff,
Plus you have a new sheriff. Yeah.
but still working under that same criteria that we have.
Mhm.
Contracted services, so they worked it out very successfully last year, and they had enough appropriate manpower to police it, so.
Okay.
But at any rate, it's a recommendation to committee.
So, question from me, do they still, when they did it last year and then this year, they're gonna bring some extra help in from out of town?
I would imagine that they will have to, yeah.
They did last year.
Yeah, and I mean, that's totally their call.
Mhm.
Normally, we did, as far as that goes, our agency brought in from different counties and stuff, but they call on those. Last year, we even had a couple of pretty good sized gentlemen from the fishing league. that showed up, and,
Last 2 years.
yeah, but they wanted to impress them that they weren't going to push that.
You can't have these deer poachers in town.
That's right, correct. I was thinking more elk. So, at any rate, that's.
Sounds good. Roger, would you make a point this evening before you leave tonight? I'm gonna talk to you concerning the skateboard.
Oh,
Please,
sure.
I got something for you, I don't wanna forget to give it to you.
Skateboard?
The skateboard?
No, I know, I thought maybe. you-
No, I don't have a skateboard.
Oh.
Dodge the bullet.
I was like,
Anyway,
I want to see.
I gotta go here.
skateboard.
this something's easier to run you down tonight than it is to.
Yeah, that's fine. Great.
All right, that's it for committees. Announcement, city offices will be closed Monday, May 26th, for Memorial Day. Now, public comment. Is there any public comment out there?
Question on the announcements, are we, then that meeting, well, we don't have a meeting, so it'll be regular scheduled
June
meeting on June 2nd.
So, any public comment? Public comment? Okay. Going down to new business. Resolution 1634, the authorization space at the city hall for destination Fort Benton. Shannon, I know this concerns you. And, I think everybody's seen your letter. So do you want to say a few things?
For
Yeah.
purposes of discussion and comment,
Yeah.
make a motion to approve resolution 1634.
Thank you, Roger.
Oh, need a second.
Second.
Okay, move to second, and now go ahead.
So what does, I don't know what that resolution says, you guys. I'm
Well,
sorry.
It's basically the document that precedes your lease agreement.
Okay.
And if we were to go through with the resolution, that doesn't mean the lease agreement is done. It just
Okay.
means that we're gonna go ahead and pursue the lease agreement. We'll get to the lease agreement after the resolution.
Okay.
But, so if you don't wanna say anything right now,
No, I actually, and, because I have a hard time hearing. So right now, currently, the lease agreement is still standing with a $200 monthly rent, right?
that's where we haven't altered it yet.
Okay. So, do you want me to introduce myself? Sorry, I'm on the road. So my name is Shannon Walton, and I'm here representing Destination Fort Benton. Last week, we distributed a letter to the city council describing some of the history of our group and the financial situation that we're in, which just seems to get harder every day. So in order to, so in addition to all the information that you were given, and all of you are very clear that if you accept grant money, you can only spend it on what the grant allows you to do. So it's very difficult to spend $1 million on good things without going through a lot of challenges. So we have no financial backing at this point besides the grant. Many of the members of the group have covered the cost of becoming a nonprofit already personally. We don't have checks yet. I still have, am about out $500 just for becoming a nonprofit. Initially, we had last November had gone to one of the community founders or funding agencies that funds a lot of stuff, and we did not get awarded funding on that. We hope to go back in November, and we will hit some of the other local foundations for operating expenses. But right now, we have no money. The grant allows us to do what the grant allows us to do. It doesn't allow us to pay rent. We can rent a space, have meetings, serve light beverages and fruit, and then we can spend money that we wrote in our budget. But we don't have the money to cover the lease. We have a person who has offered to give us some space. It would require an enormous amount of work to clean it out, but we appreciate that offer. The attraction to having a space here is that this is, in my mind, this is a joint project. And I would love to be in here to be able to say, hey, let me show you, how this is looking right now, the plan for the park or the plan for Front Street, or here's some ideas that we've got for a gazebo in front of the Grand Union. And those are all fake things. So the attraction for us of being here is that Scott's involved, you're here, and you can just see what we're up to and critique also, because none of us want to open up old gas lines that have ghosts in them or anything, and we have to have a close working relationship for the projects that were in our budget. So the attraction of being here is for communication and having one central location for our documents, as you can imagine, and it's becoming more frequent, a lot of people have a lot of really great ideas on some things they'd like to see happen with the money and improve the community. This cannot sit in my head because it goes away when it sits in my head. And so the vision of just having a place where we can put things just on, I have an automatic whiteboard or a little roll-up whiteboard that I keep referring to. So I would like the city to consider our first year being without expense in that space. I cannot imagine that we would spend more than 10 to 12 hours a week in there. It would be private. There's not going to be anybody like, just come on, swing by City Hall and have Carol let you in and we'll write down your good ideas or anything. This is just a private location for us. So that when we do want to sit down and lay out a map, we've got a place to do it. We don't want to remodel it. The one room that you showed us that's kind of the back room with the glass windows, that currently feels like a perfect amount of space. There's a desk in there. I have a table I would donate so things can just be sitting out and moved around if they need to be. We don't anticipate using the interrogation rooms yet. We would probably, if it wasn't important to you or nobody wanted us to utilize those restrooms, we wouldn't do those.
Yeah, shower, too.
Oh, after the interrogation or before. So I really want some grant money. But we're happy to, provide our own toiletries and that sort of thing. We're happy to keep the space clean, and we're happy to help get it to where it needs to be, however that looks because I know you guys have a process and a project ongoing in there. So, I think what I'd like is just the opportunity to be able to get through another fall grant cycle where we can write and just ask for the other agencies or other groups in town to support just our operating expenses. It would be nice to be able to, in year 2, to generate some fundraising ideas for Destination Fort Benton, but we're not there yet. We're there in bits and pieces, but at this point, it's just not, we haven't figured it out yet. We've got some great ideas though. So the goal for us would be to just have a starting point and to be a minimal impact on your space and no expectations for the city staff to have to do anything. If the city staff always just said it's closed, you have to contact Shannon or whoever. That's okay. And that's the truth for all of us. You guys could go in there anytime you wanted to, if you wanted to look at any projects that we've got on the wall, or if you want to add ideas to anything that's sitting out there. So that's I don't know if that's a counter proposal, but that's my ask, is just that we have a year to get our feet under us, and before we start paying rent.
Looking at that, from your letter, it stated the things that you can't pay for. You said you can't pay for long-term leases.
Yeah.
Well, but you could pay for a space for a meeting or something.
Right.
I wonder if we could slip it in there just to do a month-to-month.
To do a what, Lenny?
A month-to-month.
Oh, okay.
Here's my point of view, is basically they got their grant. In a sense, they're working for Fort Benton. They didn't, sheriff's office had been in there for years. We never got anything off that because that's the city sheriff's office. My proposal would be to do an in-kind thing if it's feasible, to do an in-kind deal. We could say, yeah, they're gonna pay $200, but it's in kind. Because they are essentially that group of people that are doing this $1 million project they're working for Fort Benton.
Yeah.
And that is a Fort Benton city.
That's why I brought Mr. Kelly here, so we can hash this out.
Sure.
And those who don't know Grant Kelly, he's our attorney.
I could be even more pathetic. Grant did nothing yet.
So I do have some considerations for the council, Shannon, thank you. So there's, I think, 2 or 3 moving pieces here. One of them is the month to month, and if that's a solution here that we can work with, I think that's great. Working with the rent, and I have specific reference, I guess, to 7-8-4201, which provides in parts that provided other things are met, the city or town council may sell, dispose of, donate, or lease any property. So I point to the 2 words there, operating, donate or lease. So I think that the in-kind contribution without a rent payment is something the city is authorized to do by state law. I would just throw in a word of caution that I agree that everything DFB is doing is great, but we don't necessarily want to set a precedent for other civically minded nonprofits.
Right.
You know, I think that's something we just need to be conscientious of going forward.
So we could do in kind the first year and then address it the next year?
Sure, and I think the way I wrote the lease is to be, it's a year-long lease as written right now, but it's made to be flexible, and we can chop that back to month or however that makes sense to do. The thing that I don't think we have as much flexibility on is the liability insurance portion of that. The lease reflects MMIA's requirements for special events to make sure that the city is covered. And this is kind of a rip off what I'm about to say from MMIA's website about how to insure special events, but I think it applies to DFB because if the city can't control what's going on, then the city can't really control its own risks. The party that's in control of any outcome going on, any risk going on, really needs to be in charge of also covering for those risks. So the party in control of any outcome, which is the party that would be in possession of the municipal facility, really needs to assume the expenses of maintaining insurance. And that's the really kind of more important thing from my perspective, is that the city doesn't inadvertently create exposure for itself that gets us sideways with MMIA or causes some other collateral issue for something we just can't predict.
But a lot of the stuff they're gonna be doing and building is for the city.
Yes.
Which would call on our liability to begin with anyway.
They're not a city employee, they're not a city contractor, they're not our agent. They're an independent nonprofit that we think are doing great things and we want to support as much as we can.
So, can I interject? And have you ever got a quote from an insurance?
No, but now they want to know about our policy regarding child molestation. That's where we are. We're 19 pages down now. I mean, it has
The
been.
reason I'm asking is, I don't know, you told me at one of your meetings that your 501c is required to get liability insurance.
Yeah, yes.
So with that liability insurance policy, we could be a rider on that.
I agree. One of the people that we've been talking to about insurance, we've explained this situation very lightly. And it's my understanding that our liability insurance quote would cover somebody falling in there or something. But we haven't gotten insurance yet.
As long as we can get that and
Yeah.
see that, we just need to review the policy. And
Okay,
that's what we're looking for. We're looking,
right.
we wouldn't be doing the city a favor if we let somebody in there with no liability coverage.
Right.
It just wouldn't make sense.
And what Joellen and Janice have been working on the insurance situation. So what we can do, we have a document from the notebook that came from the state, and we can get you a copy of that grant that will describe what kind of insurance we're
It'd be
purchasing,
good.
hoping to purchase.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's hard to spend $1 million on a playground.
I think we got the lease, the rent payment figured out.
Yeah.
We just need to figure out this insurance thing.
I would pros and in kind thing, because I don't think we never made We've never made money on that room before.
And we're not, we didn't intend to make money on it. It's just that it just seemed silly when we first started writing this up, Grant and I, that it would be silly to say the rent is free or it's $1. You know, why are we even doing it? So we tried to make it reasonable, but then we didn't see, I didn't think of income. But it still makes sense.
The value of an in-kind donation, as many of you know, is from a grant writing perspective, it looks like, oh my gosh, look at them, they're working right hand in hand with the city.
Because you and I discussed, you basically, to get the grant, needed city approval.
Right.
The city government
Yeah,
in order to get it, because they wanted the approval. Well, that shows that we're
right.
doing it.
And I feel like, from just speaking for me, the more rigid and rule-based, I can't talk about insurance because it's too big in my head, but like, if this is a space that is only entered by destination Fort Benton individuals, you know, for 3 hours on a Thursday afternoon, or however we set that up, I don't know what that looks like, but like, I don't want to have a meeting in there with a bunch of people from the public looking at, you know, because it's not a good space for that, first of all. But it's also, I don't want people hovering around here throwing great ideas at you guys or being angry because, you know, you put a blue ribbon on the trail or something. So, you know, I just think that needs to be a space that anybody from the city can go into and look at things, but that it's not like a library. Like
Well,
it's
and
not
then
a
you
free-for-all.
guys need maybe a private space to meet with your group.
Yeah, and if it's just the 5, we call ourselves the working group. If there's 5 of us in there kind of looking at maps or pictures or documents or whatever, I mean, anybody can come in. The more the merrier as far as I'm concerned from your bench and staff. But I do want to protect, because it's remarkable. There's some great ideas.
Mhm.
Okay,
So,
Okay.
no comment?
nope, I just was wondering.
Anybody else?
My only recommendation at this point in time is that we, defeat the resolution motion.
So I think,
On roll call.
reading the resolution, I think we go ahead and pass the resolution. We just need to work on the.
No.
My advice would be to table the resolution.
Table.
Okay, well, that's basically what I'm saying.
Well, I was looking
is
at it,
it's
I
a
didn't
moot
see
point.
where we would change it, so
So-
it doesn't have any of those leaves.
Well, unless you did the cost.
Or if we need to change the lease, which is incorporated by reference into the resolution, that would
alright.
require potentially
Okay.
doing publication.
And we'll just go ahead and table both of these. So we have time to work on it.
I'll, rescind my motion, if you'll rescind your second.
Okay.
And,
We'll see you.
my recommendation now from the council is to table this, to
We'll bring it up, we'll leave it on the agenda.
leave it on the agenda, unfinished business, but it doesn't have, until we are ready to make a
Right,
decision.
yeah.
To do that.
If it's ready, we'll have it on there on the second.
So, and in that point, are we're not voting.
No,
So, but in this resolution, then are we gonna talk with our attorneys to do something in kind?
not right now. We're gonna table the action.
Not tonight.
Table this
Possibly by the
resolution,
second.
table the action.
Okay.
If
And
it's ready to go by the second, then we'll have it on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay? Depends on whether you do it all together. So it'd have to be the in-kind, which is the easy part. And then we have to work on, it'd really be helpful if we could get something from where you guys are looking at getting insurance, so we can
Yeah.
see how we fit in your policy.
So I will work on that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to know. It's-
Well, yeah,
it's an open end.
Who knew
Right.
that you couldn't just build a playground?
Okay, thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, thank you.
And, so, the new business part B, destination Fort Benton letter, I think we pretty well covered it. So, now we'll move on to C, request for engineering services. I've got the last 2 weeks, the paper has solicited for engineering services for the city of Fort Benton. And we received so far to date, and I think the deadline was Thursday. All I got was Great West. So what I need to do, I need to assign the Water and Sewer Committee, with your chairman, with Thad Byrne, to meet before the next meeting and go over this. And I got a kind of a ranking sheet for you, evaluation sheet. I'll get that for you. I couldn't find it on the computer. Anyway, meet as a committee and have it ready at the next meeting for recommendations for the services. We have to wait for Carol, Cindy, whether you didn't get any more recommendations for services, did you? No. I should have asked that before it started. I didn't think it.
I did.
They were due Thursday.
Yeah, no, I didn't receive anything.
So anyway, we just have to get that done. And then we'll pass it into the next council meeting and hire these folks again for the foreseeable future. Okay, any questions on that? Okay. Going to department heads. Cindy,
I don't have anything today.
Whitley, Carlos, I know you've got all kinds of good things to tell us.
Well, not good.
Not good things, that's not good.
No, just still in limbo on a bunch of different things. Just waiting for the guys to get back to us on that motor for the lagoons. And right now our irrigation system for the golf course is down because our flow meter is down again. So we're gonna bypass flow meter and put just a switch valve in there just to detect flow for now. It's gonna take us a few months just to get that flow meter.
We're not pushing to have to discharge, are we?
No, we have plenty of room still.
Okay.
So
Great.
that's it for us.
Mark,
Well, as everybody knows, there's a lot of building going on, or been really booming. It all looks good to me. Real
you're a
happy
busy
with it.
guy.
Yeah, but it's really good for Fort Benton.
Okay. Carol,
I do not have anything.
no swimming pool
No,
news?
no swimming pool news yet. I do have 3 applications back from lifeguards, so that's good.
More than we had last time? Pick up a few?
No, I still only have 5 for sure that came and said they wanted packets. I have 1 that is a strong possibility. We were just not sure on the age.
But we'll still take more. We can get more.
We would take a couple more,
Stephanie, they gotta be 16.
yeah.
right? There's
So.
a work cut out for you, Stephanie.
And all that free time she has.
Thank you for showing up.
Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Grant, for helping us out. Meeting's adjourned. See you in a second.
Can you write down your cell phone number? Like I have yours. There's somebody in my background who did be going. So I actually already know if I won't have a call. So hopefully I can get. Probably the document on how that we're giving to the insurance.
The insurance also can't be covered as grant property.
Right.
But that was, like, they said, okay, now, part one stuff, you need to have one. We're all like. So it can't, it won't cover everything. See, most of the other groups that are established areas.
That already have one.
Yeah, they, yeah, and
Yeah, I
So
mean,
then I started.
I don't know why we wait.
Because those guys are. Yeah.
There's a lot of them that were
Yeah, yeah, so that's what it feels like. This will roll out. And this strand.
Yeah,
That,
it's getting bigger.
yeah, so that's what we
I'll do that. You guys wanna meet just 15 minutes
I
earlier
thought it was
next
only
time?
6 to figure
No,
out.
no, this is that.
There's only one. Not much to talk about.
but they're
Yeah, that's true.
What's that?
How long is this?
Station for Benton.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it benefits. I mean, so maybe we can put a spin on it. Like, we can try to, that's fine.
It was a long time ago. Nobody else. It's been a long time since.
We want to meet like six.
Sure. Works for me. I'm pretty sure in there somewhere that I'm reading that stuff we have tonight.
But maybe you can.
Yeah. Last time we had it, there was, we're voting on 3 different bases. Other people did it, there's 2 bids. There's a guy that was living here for that, which never was always.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's actually.
How much does it cost? So it was over 500 to become a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, part of that worked out. For nonprofit.
$6.
Or doesn't, and that would have been less expensive. Project Meanwhile, we're getting phone calls.
Yeah, we're not to the ideas yet, guys. We gotta get the groundwork started.
Yes.
This is the tedious stuff, yeah. All
I
the
don't mind,
technicalities.
like, I don't mind working, but I'm working anymore, so I was, I do just random stuff, so. Joel and Janice are so good, and they,
Yeah, for sure.
like Joellen has her own.
They're gonna
insurance. They're our, she's our accountant, and they're co-grant.
I think that'll be really good.
Yeah, and then they.
And then you can pay them for their time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And we decided that, we've talked about this, like, Joel and it's like, the work I do is like answer the phone. Or if Bogart at 7 o'clock in the morning. Hey, and it's like, I don't sit in a space and answer the phone. It's not.
Yeah.
So
It'd be hard to bill out.
Yeah, it would be, but it's easier on.
6 by 12.
Read
But I can do it.
kind of rounding up support.
If I want the back end gate, I can.
That's what. The best thing. This all should take.
I got it. I mean, this was
Should give them a.
It is, and I think.
I got told.
I think.
Yeah. Well, but I got the printer. Yeah, you bet.
I got mine back and moved
Those
it
are those orange
this
liquid.
weekend.
Or,
Right till
I know.
3:50.
yeah, finally.
I love it.
Inside.
My resume. And I'm like, okay, you can have a copy of my resume. Clinical excellence. Just bizarre. But thank you. I called Carla.
parents way out there.
So go.
Well, we can always hear it.
Yeah.
The
that's fine.
labels do ship pretty quick, so now that I have it set up and you'll have print
You
them.
guys gonna meet at 6:15 for your special event permit
It
next?
should be a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
The wedding on the bridge.
Yes.
Okay, because the other guys are gonna meet at June.
I can
Yeah,
get these
And their
myself.
wedding is until June 21st.
Yeah.
But we'll put you at 6:15 because we got the.
Yes,
guys
things
are
that
doing
need
the
special
dancing at
sizing or
6.
Oh,
carbon.
They gotta meet at 6.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can run through
Approve
it.
that, them as engineering. and
Yeah.
But that's easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll tell it.
Okay.
Perfect. Tabs on it, so we don't know.
right. Yeah.
Maybe my concern with, you know.
I don't work.
Temporary employment. Just doing it. Just like so. There's something signed and say about it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What do you call it?
Mhm.
Anyway, if he gets too many hours, then we gotta put him on benefits. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he don't care, but somebody does.
Yeah,
We don't
yeah.
get
So he
somebody
doesn't care about getting benefits? He doesn't
No,
know that?
he doesn't,
But yeah, he meets that.
if he goes through that threshold and all of a sudden he gets a change of heart, he could question.
But can you say you can only do 20 hours a week or, yeah?
I can't remember the hours of it, it's 800 hours or something like that a year, because a full-time job is 2,000.
Yeah.
So, we started it so late this last year, and we don't have to worry about it.
Right,
We started in
Yeah.
July 1. After July 1, we said, we're going to watch it, and we're going to his hours by the end of the year. So they have 6 months to get the income.
yeah.
Or he just has to learn the cases.
Cut it off after, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that is hard.
it is. Yeah, but he's doing a good job.
Especially, and I'm sure it will slow down, you know, the first year or two are gonna be where you're doing all the catch up
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of getting everybody in the rhythm of
There's a lot.
what the expectation is.
He goes to his first trial on Wednesday. I might even go.
Is that with Brewster?
No. Oh,
The
yeah,
just
yeah,
the piece?
he goes, yeah, it's the lady up on the end of 13th Street, where Erica's house was.
Oh, yeah.
The lady that bought that, and like 7 dogs out there, and they were just, storm. So she's excited. Now she has to go to court.
Okay, I wonder what her argument will be.
Connie's relative, Connie's family, in Lewistown, they told her that this lady came from Lewistown. Yeah, and she was in the city limits of Lewistown. She was out of this little town of Nathan. And she had the same thing, she called it a rescue. But they shut her down because of inhumane conditions.
Oh, dear.
And I told the confiscated all the dogs. Now she comes here.
So
and
she
could
really
do
might
the
be
same thing.
a hoarder more than a, yeah.
Well, it's suspected that she delivers the mail out at the Box Elder, and they suspect she just, oh, there's no, get in the truck, take it home. No, it's all such a good dogs. Nobody messed the dog if they had a home, they were just out having a walk.
Oh,
Anyway, so we'll see how that goes. I think I might go, maybe,
yeah, just to see how the
maybe have an
process, that'd be
impression on her saying
interesting.
that you might think this is the Wild West, but it's not. And I'm gonna do a little Googling, I'm gonna find out how many unincorporated towns does the state of Montana have. And I'm gonna take that number with me. If you wanna go to one of these 600 or whatever it is, towns in the state of Montana, then nobody gonna care. But you come here where we're incorporated, we have ordinances, you can't do this. So hopefully that'll open our eyes a little bit. Maybe it's all the place to leave.
Highwood, I don't think Highwood's incorporated, right? Geraldine is, Big Sandy is, but
Yeah.
Highwood, Loma.
Loma, Gerald, yeah.
Yeah, there's even some local options, Carter, yeah, really, there's.
Well, when you look at somebody like that, if the Fergus County shut her down,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
There's the other ones that have jurisdiction in those unincorporated towns.
Right, yeah, so if it wasn't
I mean,
county.
supposedly she was in the town of Maiden, I don't know if you know where Maiden is. It's a ghost town in the, on the west side of the Beaver Mountains. And it maybe, there's no businesses there anymore, except maybe 2 or 3 residences and like some seasonal cabins. And whatever she had, that's what it was. When I worked, when I was living, I lived in Gilbert, which is a ghost town on the other side of the mountain.
Oh, okay.
And Maiden still had a school.
Oh, wow, okay.
My neighbor was a school.
Oh, wow.
You know, so it was school up to 6th grade.
Mhm. So then where would they go to high school? Boostown, you're right.
I think when they closed that school, they only had 3 or 4 kids in it.
Kind of like her, yeah.
Pretty much. Well, it was a lot harder to get to.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's true.
Highways, you gotta drive, well, if you go onto the highway, it goes to Roy, north of Lewistown, and you get to Warm Springs Creek, and you go up towards the mountains, it's probably about 10 miles. So it's not like you go there unless you have a reason.
Yeah, really.
Even though the road goes over the mountain in the summertime.
Yeah. Have the neighbors been complaining a lot about that? Has it been an ongoing?
Yeah, I think it was count 7 or 8, I can't remember. Claims 3 of them inside there. When I went up there, Jim had to look at it, I counted 5, but I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hauled all those cameras in there and everything. After they reported, she figured she was getting blocked, and she moved it to the other side of the garage.
Yeah, that's,
And she started a junkyard up there, these old junk cars that come in.
oh, brother, okay.
And so, and they don't have a business license, they're supposedly going to do work on these cars. We have a picture of it, they're not licensed, and orders for cars that aren't licensed.
Oh, well, hopefully
I'm glad Kim likes his job.
yeah. Oh, I know, that's a hard position to find someone that is,
Yeah.
nobody would want to do that. But.
Have you, talked to Anna or anybody, on whether anybody else has filed for?
I was gonna ask Lana again, so far only, Roger was the only one that did, oh, I don't have my phone with me. Roger was the only one from there, and there was one, who was it on council?
Somebody other than who's on?
No, it was a current member, it was like maybe Corey, it's Corey from.
Hopefully they'll file, they already got it.
Yeah, well, they have till June, they have a few more weeks.
Yeah, June 1st,
It might be June 16th, I wanna say.
Oh, okay.
It's a long period.
Yeah.
So I know with school board, there was like nobody filed until the last minute,
Oh,
and then
no.
everybody, all the incumbents filed. But I think like, I know Joellen was kind of hoping that someone else would file, and then she was kind of waiting to see who would file, and if she thought they would be a good board member, she wasn't gonna run. But then nobody was putting in, so she put in, because she's like, well, I don't want someone bad, like someone that would not be good to. Oh, okay. Oh, that's what it sounded like.
So I went and visited him,
Okay.
I talked to him for about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Maybe I scared him away.
Yeah, and he has a flexible job that,
And he's had enough experience with law enforcement, I think he can take criticism.
yeah,
Used to people being pissed at him.
great. Okay, that could be a good
Yeah.
option.
I agree.
I wondered when I saw him in the meeting.
When yeah, glad he did. But, so I hope maybe he'll come to a few more. Like I said, he's got plenty of time to file.
Yeah, there's time to think about it. And
I don't know, I asked Carlos, I was joking, because he's our neighbor.
yeah.
Are you kind of talking to me this? No, what do you
Yeah, I was thinking about that during the meeting. Oh, I need to check in with Lana again to see if there's been any more. But as of last week, it was just the 2, one of the current council members and then Roger.
Well, I did leave, I did tell Eric, I said, there's another option too, because you don't file for mayor, or even if you do file for mayor, Rogers beats you, in the election, you're right in the same
Yeah,
board.
they are in the same
If
word.
you tell him you're interested, he probably sign you.
And that could be a good
It would be,
transition. Yeah,
really, would, either way.
yeah, that's great to see some interest.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We blood all the time, and it makes it pretty stale. So, anyway.
Oh,
thanks
that's
for
good to
coming.
hear. Yeah, thanks, Laney.
Yep.
See ya.
Have a good one.
You too.
There's too much water, there's too much stuff in it. They've already put
You know where I go,
picnic tables and everything else.
anywhere on that.
I think that would be gorgeous. They could go and if they started on that end, they could sit and watch the
Well, not
river.
only that, but there's, I've been in town, so who that is up there, it's very close. Yeah, well, you gotta do what you can get.
Yes.
Stay up there, and let food right there, you can go across the building. It's gonna be,
There's not enough space in there. It's shut right in the middle of it. You have to put it on either side.
You know, no, I think that's what I'm gonna do.
I think it would be lovely to have it.
We can pound this meat with
His
them.
problem is that it's out there. He can see it over here, he can see what, yeah, see what's going on in the place, right?
And if we, well, we can pound what the next time. So if I talk to him tomorrow, I will ask him if he wants to come up, we have to maybe take a look.
Well, I think everybody has the same thing. That's how they filled up.
Well, I would say, I'd be.
Yeah, I think it would be beautiful.
That's the first thing I thought. Anyway.
So good.
I thought it.
Now, the,
And this one, they use this street. I'm gonna do it. How many ways over the time do I see it? And take that one. And I'm gonna go. Does this one come in play like that? Okay, you want to start one of the businesses, you know, good. But when you go to a short period of time like us, we have one. And you can't. You have to buy their ordinance, because if you just don't have. I was just saying, I think we'll talk, I didn't think, speak to Brad Jones, we'll try that probably. This is him.
yeah,
I can't believe he had one.
Yeah. You know what, there's, Carter is unincorporated, Loma is unincorporated.
I think there's probably.
I would, but
This
it's
is just a
over.
wild guess, but I think there's about 600. Yeah, learning from farmers.
Yes. Well, she came from Kalispell, or at least that was the address, when she was gone. And so I am wondering if she got kicked out of Kalispell too. Because they're much bigger and growing. Yeah. No. I like it.
Somewhere.
My baby's getting back. Oh. She will be turning 5 months here shortly, on the 24th. Her mama had jowls. She was skinny, but she had these jowls that just,
Oh, wow.
her mom must have been talking to her.
Did you get Carl going out on the
No, he didn't talk to me today. He came in, dropped off his time card and left, and talked to you. He didn't talk to me at all. So, yeah, tomorrow's the 20th, so if he picks it up tomorrow night, and then as soon as he was done with his rounds in the morning on the 21st, he could go out and do that. I'll sit down and go through that on Wednesday and try and give it back to him. Yep, yep, yes. So are you on duty all weekend then? Because Scott's gone too.
And I had to break the news tonight because we were supposed to go and I never came.
Oh, yes. You might have to start saying one or the other has to stay here. And since Scott asked for his a couple of months ago.
Yeah, usually, that never happens when both of them were gone at the same time. I wonder if Whitley shut this off. I don't think she
I
did.
just hope we don't have a water.
I know.
I thought about that and I was gonna catch Scott before he left to make sure I could get a hold of him and then and I went fishing and I didn't get it done.
Still running.
You know how to shut it off?
Yes, but I gotta find some glasses. I can't see without glasses. Shit. That wasn't good.
Oh, yeah, there's your glasses on. You and me both.
End stream. God. This has been, your stream will stop immediately and you will no longer be live. And